Nike has this really interesting thought now about pre-competitive spaces, which I think is fascinating. So the idea is that there are times when we will be competitive and times when we won't be competitive.
In the kind of context of brands and brand building, what do you think collaboration means for companies and for brands?
So I was interviewing a guy about this the other day from a dance music label called Disrupted, and he talked about YouTubers. He talked about how whereas people in marketing tend to have what he called a land grab mentality. It's all very competitive. You take this bit, I'll take this bit. He said YouTubers have what they call a leg up mentality, and that sense of let's help each other because we can all benefit in that kind of way. And that sense of how maybe also particularly in a post-COVID world, we need to have more of a leg up mentality and how we support and help each other. Most of my clients didn't really embrace collaboration in any fundamentally deep way. There was shallow collaboration, which effectively is little more than celebrity endorsement, when we'll use this rapper's name on this Happy Meal kind of thing. But that wasn't really about genuine collaboration. One of the things obviously about challenges, and challenges was my kind of passion and energy for the last 21 years really, is that they inherently aren't as big as anybody else. And so, but their ambitions are at least as big as everybody else's, but their resources aren't as big as everybody else's. So I've been very interested for a long time in terms of how you can help brands, companies, people, teams access other people's resources. And collaboration clearly is a very good way of not only accessing resources, but actually an exchange of ideas and cultures in terms of successful collaboration, deep collaboration, rather than simply borrowing somebody's name to stick on your product, is that you embark on it for one reason. I want to access your distribution, or I want to access, a joint innovation thought or something like that. Actually, it's the unintended benefits very often of that, the learnings that you take from each other about how to think about a category or how to think about a market or how to think about a consumer, that refreshes your understanding. So if you're trying to genuinely shift sustainability and you'll shift the dial on sustainability in terms of, for instance, waterless dyeing, right? So water is very intensive in dyeing, the dyeing process, as you know, so let's move to a waterless dyeing process. It's quite expensive for us to do that on our own, but if we partner with a parent competitor, Adidas, we can do it together much more cheaply. That benefits the planet, it benefits our customers, ultimately it benefits us. So there'll be a space in our relationship which is pre-competitive, where we'll collaborate. I think within that, perhaps distinguishing between enemies and monsters. So, the thought that actually, Adidas may be my enemy, but the monster of environmental collapse is bigger than both of us and threatens our entire community. We both need to join together to fight that.
And I think working with your competitors is going to get you there faster, and ultimately develop products that people are going to be able to purchase much sooner than going for the do it on your own mentality.
So I think the first question obviously is well, why might it be useful or important to you? And I think if you look at different kinds of collaboration, they range from mutual survival at one end through navigating the rapids, all the way through to what kind of agronomists would call hybrid vigor. This notion of hybrid vigor, which I'm fascinated by, which is essentially says, so if we are trying to create a rice for an emerging market, then actually we can splice a disease-resistant rice with a high-yield rice together. That's hybrid vigor. So I get the best of both of these things, and I create a new thing that works better than both of us. So actually, collaborations that allow you to genuinely put two things together that create something that's better than either of them, I think are really interesting. One of the times when you see collaboration used most is when categories are kind of navigating the rapids of change. So you look at automotive category moving towards a world of autonomous vehicles or semi-autonomous vehicles, and how it's just too risky and too expensive for Ford to try and do all of that on their own, right?
We always encourage our clients to involve not only us, from a sort of design perspective earlier in the project, but also engage other people in their company, because often if you're solving a marketing problem, the distribution team will have an interesting insight that might bring something to the table, or the engineers might do it. The sort of big scale tech brands that are, they're merging their dev team and their marketing team and their
Right.
brand team are getting like closer and closer, because products and positioning and perception are all kind of now interlinked, and you can't have the marketing team out there going, this is a fun, friendly product, and then you log in and you have to do 15 steps to take your first, your first interaction. Those two things don't necessarily collide. So I think it can also happen inside the organization too.
Yeah, I saw some data recently talking about just how bad organizations were at doing that, and therefore what the opportunity is when they do. Something like, I'm misremembering it, but something like only 20% of CMOs said they'd collaborated with somebody else in the C-suite in their own company in the past 12 months or something. It's very under-leveraged, but very powerful, as you say, when one can do it.